Good afternoon, everybody. This is Attila speaking from Budapest. I'm really happy to have you here today. Thanks a lot for joining. Thanks a lot for being part of our initiative, the tutoring program. And thanks a lot for joining in today. I know that this time of the year is very busy for all of you. You're working on your operations plan, which is due in a few weeks. So thanks a lot for spending the time to listen into this session. This will not be long. I scheduled 1 hour. I think that'll be enough. We could even finish earlier if it goes fast, but I will not keep you long, I promise. Okay, so you know the rules. You're muted just to avoid any noise coming in from your offices. Just hit the hand button underneath the list of participants if you have anything that you would like to comment, or if you have a question. There's no set agenda as such for this short session. Just I put a few things now on the screen. The introduction is whatever I'm saying right now. And we will talk about a few other things as listed here, but just feel free to interrupt and comment or ask a question. There's no specific Q&A for the session, so just interrupt me if you have anything to say. The session is being recorded. Some of the tutors could not come today, so I will share the recording of this session with everybody. So even you can review it later on if you forgot something or need further clarification. So to start with, this is the first session of first webinar session of the e-tutoring program. As promised, we will do our best to support you with all possible means we can, so that you can do a great job with tutoring. There will be other webinar sessions as well. This session will really be about the general ideas and main objectives, expectations of this whole project. Okay? Yes, objectives, expectations. I will talk about what your learners are doing right now. I will talk about the e-tutoring program as a training, which is a fact sheet recordable training, which all of you are enrolled into. And we will see the technical aspects of tutoring through our tool called the assignment tool. Okay? There will be, I plan to do other sessions as well for you during the next few months that we will be working together. This session will not go into thematic details of each assignment, okay, because that would be quite long to do. This session is really on the general idea and the technical details, that you need to understand to start working as a tutor. Okay, we all met last year, so I don't think much introduction needs to be done. My job in all this will be generally to work with you guys, the tutors, to see if you have any difficulties, to see if you need any support, or if you have some delays that I need to replace you for one of your learners, or issues like that. Then I also have we also have Laura and Agnes. They are also part of the program team here in the GLC. They will work more on the learners side, so they will more talk to learners and see what learners face. Okay, but my job here is really to support you fully as I can to be able to do a good tutoring work. I don't know if Laura or Agi, do you want to say something? Laura, do you want to say a few words? Let me unmute you. Laura?
Yes, hello. Well, I can just welcome all participants, and I'm really happy that people responded to your invitation to become e-tutors in this cohort. So I believe everything will go well. You will learn many new things, or you will repeat many things that you already know, and in forthcoming weeks we will agree how to have the webinar to discuss the content of the assignments. So please be free to send us questions if you have any once you start going through them. Thank you very much. Thank you, Attila.
Thank you very much, Dora. Okay, so let's move to the next, to my next slide. So just a little bit of background on this whole program. This is how we see the objectives of this whole initiatives. You're all seniors in your functions. You have completed PM2. So these skills are familiar to all of you. Still, we think that taking part of this, you will have to apply a lot of different ways of communication when you are dealing with learners who might be from protection, who might be from program but with a junior profile, who might be from any other technical function, or who might be in a managerial position, and learners who are not in your context, who are located at the other end of the world. We think that you will benefit from talking to these people. You will have to apply different ways of motivating these people to learn and to submit their assignments duly. You will have to understand what people know about program management. This is a very effective way of comprehending things. You all know that you have practiced this a lot. Last year in Budapest, you were teaching what you know best. This is the most effective way of further improving your knowledge. And most importantly, formulating constructive feedback is really crucial in program management, because you are consolidating inputs from a lot of other functions, other colleagues within your operation, and also you are working a lot with NGOs and partners who submit their proposals to you. So you do need to be really good in formulating feedback that is not offending, that is constructive, and you need to do this in a programmatic environment specific to UNHCR. And last but not least, we hope that by being part of this, you can extend your professional network, peek a bit into other operational contexts, because we'll make sure that the colleague who you're tutoring doesn't sit next to you in the office, but is from a different operation, from a different context. Maybe you work with refugees and you will tutor someone who is working with IDPs currently. So we hope that this program will also provide sort of a bridge for you to see other operational realities, best practices, etc. Okay, but also just to complement the objectives of the training, obviously we have our own objectives here. The GLC uses this opportunity to scale up access to program management level 1. We are having 140 learners this year. By far, we could not do this in-house. We don't have this tutor capacity here, nor do we have the funds to bring in external tutors, just like you experienced through PM2. PM1 is a more intermediate level training, so we really don't have any other opportunity, but to reach out to colleagues who are in the field and who can be part of this project. Also, it is important to highlight that we really see this as an opportunity to bring the best feedbacks to PM1 learners, because there is only few things we see here from headquarters. We are sitting in Budapest, but you guys are out in the field actually doing the job that this training is about. So we really see this as an opportunity to put in as much practical orientation into our training, and this is one of the most important things I highlight and emphasize every year, that the tutor's job is to bring in that practical, practice-oriented knowledge into the lines you're putting into your feedbacks. Okay, and also it is no secret that if you enjoy working with us this year, you're more than welcome to work with us also next year. If you find, if you enjoy tutoring, if you enjoy working with people, motivating people, you're more than happy to join our pool of e-tutors. We do have colleagues who are with us in this project for many years, not only 2, 3, 4 years even, who keep on taking up learners because they see the added value in this activity. Okay, let's move on. Yes, so the expectations that we would like you to meet, okay? The first point is timely feedback. This is extremely important. This is super important. I think you know what it means to get timely feedback. You have seen the best of tutors as part of PM2, which was coached by the Commonwealth of Learning from Canada, which is a dedicated group of tutors who are working full-time on this project, and they have vast experience in tutoring. And I think you have seen that for each of your assignments, you have received feedback within a reasonable amount of time span. This is extremely important for the learner to have comment when the work is still active, when the work is still in learners' heads. They're still into that part of the project. If feedbacks arrive 4 weeks, 1.5 months later, it will be just a hassle for learners to review, because they've already forgotten what they have compiled as part of the assignments. So I could easily say that a timely response is the most important aspect of the tutoring work. Maybe not to say that the whole feedback should arrive immediately, but I would more point out that a continuous and live interaction with the learner is important, so that no one feels forgotten and the contact is maintained. Okay, we say 10 working days, so that's 2 weeks time basically if we count the weekends. This is not so short if you think about it. You will see that providing the initial feedback to an assignment, based on my personal experience, I've done a lot of feedback, a lot of tutoring for PM1 in past years. I would think that the first initial feedback would take approximately 2, maximum 2.5 hours. But maybe if you have a perfect learner, it could even be done in 60 minutes or 45 minutes. Why I say initial feedback? The initial feedback is the most important because that's when you are assessing the learner's assignment for the first time, okay? You know perfectly well that almost never you receive a pass mark for the first go when you're working on a written assignment in a GLC training, okay? This is because the tutor will always have something to say. The tutor will always have something that he or she wants you to reconsider and maybe provide further thoughts on. But the second and third rounds, if needed, will take much less time from you, okay? So it's the initial feedback that requires a lot of efforts. That's when you need to read through the assignment, understand your learner's profile, and provide the general feedback, which might be a rework, which rework is when you ask your learner to go back and do some further work. But the second and third rounds will be just checking if your learners did the extra work required, if they put in the extra effort you wanted, okay? 10 working days, I think that's not too bad. I think that's something you can easily meet. If there's a problem, if you know for sure that you cannot meet this deadline, it is very important to notify your learners, okay? Notify your learners that you are outside of the country or you're taking a long break, or just to agree on an alternative deadline. If you know that you cannot provide your feedback by this given date, you might agree with your learner to submit the assignment once you are both back on track and will have the capacity to review the work, okay? 2 learners, 3 assignments. As I have already pointed out last year in the PM2 workshops, you will be allocated maximum 2 learners, and each learner has maximum, well, not maximum, exactly 3 assignments, okay? One assignment will have some rounds of rework, obviously, but it's 3 main assignments that you need to review for both your learners, okay? PM1 is divided into a spring cohort and into a summer cohort, running parallel. This is because we have 140 learners this year. We even had more last year, so it is very difficult to run a cohort of this size at the same time. Just think about PM2 had only 68 learners. It's more than double for PM1. So it's a lot of work for us and for tutors as well. So we are running 2 cohorts which start with some delay so we can better organize our work. It's the same thing for tutors. So I will most likely assign to you 1 learner from the spring cohort and 1 learner from the summer cohort. They all have the same assignments, but they have different deadlines to submit them, okay? This way, you only need to review 1 assignment when 1 deadline approaches, and you can learn from your mistakes, or you can improve your work based on feedback from your learner and also from us when your second learner's assignment will be submitted. Some of you might be associated 2 learners from the spring cohort if the numbers are as such. But generally speaking, I will try to put you 1 learner from spring cohort and another learner from the summer cohort, okay? Then the quality of the feedbacks. So obviously we are all here to do good feedback, so I don't need to emphasize that quality of feedback is super important. This is a very important training opportunity for colleagues. For non-program colleagues, this is sort of the how should I say, the top of the range program training that they have access to, PM1. They will not have access to PM2, most likely, only a very few number. So this is the end of their program training sort of career with GLC. So it is very important that they receive quality feedback on their work. And it's actually the written assignments that fundamentally differentiate between people who just view e-learnings in Learn and Connect, because everybody has access to PM1 e-learnings, and that special selected group who are actually enrolled to the program, because during the self-study phase, it is really about the written assignments and the feedbacks that they are focusing on. Okay, we will do our best to give you the possible support. Obviously, you will receive the document templates, which learners will be working on, and you receive a detailed scoring document for every assignment, every 3 assignments. Furthermore, I plan to organize webinar sessions, thematic webinar sessions for every assignment, through which we will only talk about concepts and clarifications for those programmatic themes that are covered in the assignments. Okay, the first assignment generally covers assessment and planning. The second assignment is about the budget, and the third assignment will look at monitoring, reporting, and coordination. Okay, so these are the general subjects that are covered in 3 assignments. You will see all of them when we get there. They're not super heavy assignments. Okay, we try to accommodate the audience's needs. You need to understand that the audience is quite diverse. Okay, about half of the audience is non-program, the other half of non-program from the international category, so senior colleagues in their own functions, but without a lot of knowledge in program management. Then the other half of the cohort is program staff who have just entered UNHCR, or program staff who are in their first, second, maybe third year in the function. So they also don't have a huge knowledge and experience, but they have a different knowledge than the international learners. So they all need really a quality feedback. It's super important. And also, as I said many times, your feedback will become personal and great if you share your own experience. Okay, we cannot give you that. We cannot put in the scoring document what experience you should share from your own functions. But personally, in my view, that is the most important part coming from you. Share your challenges, share how you solve them, and share the best practices that work in your operation. This will have a huge impact on how people solve their challenges in their operational context. Okay? Just interrupt me if you have any questions, okay? Feel free to raise your hand, click the hand icon, and then I will unmute the floor. So being an effective tutor does not only mean providing quality feedback, okay? It means a lot more than that. That's where we see really the advantage of this program for you, because you will have to practice motivating the learner. It is not a teacher approach that we want from you. We need you to be a tutor, not a teacher, okay? You need to set the stage. We will ask you to provide a nice introduction to your learner through our tool, where you will immediately set the tone, share a few words on what you're doing, where you're coming from, what's your experience, stuff like that. Then you also need to understand your learner's profile, okay? It's really important to know what's the background of the learner, where he or she is, what experience he or she has in program management or in general managing field operations. So all these things you need to take into consideration when you are working with them. And finally, this is also an important point, follow up on learner progress. During the years, we realized that the most effective way to catch up with learners who are delayed is for the tutors to give them reminders. Why? Because you are working with them. You're establishing a personal sphere with the learner. They will feel obliged to keep what you agree with them. Whenever we are sending reminders, that's like a system reminder doesn't really work well. Of course, after a point, we step in and act as a GLC in getting the learner back on track. But it's really important that you also do your best to send some reminders, send some motivation, send a message to the learner if you see that the person is not on track. Ask him or her, what's the difficulty, what's going on, where can I help you? So a few things that you can do to motivate them. Okay, I have a question from Wasim. If the learner does not adhere to the initial submission deadline, GLC follows up, not the tutor, correct? That's what I was primarily talking about. I should say that it's both, okay? To start with, the system will send reminders to the learners by default, okay? I think you have seen this in PM2. The system sends 3 reminders, few days ahead of a deadline, on the actual deadline, on the date of the submission, and few days after the assignment is due, okay? And these are automatic messages from Learn and Connect. Then we are also monitoring their progress, and if we see that the first deadline, April 20, is, let's say, passed by 2 weeks, I should say 5th of May, let's say 5th of May, we see that these learners have not yet submitted anything, obviously we would start sending them messages. But as I said, it's a really effective way that you as tutors send them personal messages, agree with them in an alternative deadline if needed, or just find out what's going on, what's the difficulty. The learner might be just as well working on the stuff, but he or she has difficulties to submit the work because they miss some points. That's where the tutor's role becomes very important. You can motivate the learner also to submit partially completed assignments, okay? So the first submission doesn't need to be the complete submission. You will see that one assignment has like 5, 6, 7 different questions. So the learner might submit the first 3 questions so that you can already start viewing that and submit the rest later, okay? So these are ways to sort of handle such a situation. Another question from Ibrahim: if a learner drops along the way, will he or she be replaced so that our tutoring learning is not interrupted? Yes, Ibrahim, for sure. I will do my best to reallocate you to another learner. We have a waiting list for learners who we had to unfortunately we could unfortunately not take them initially. We had approximately, I think, 400 applications for these 140 seats. So there are learners who we could not take initially, okay? We will, if there's a dropout for whatever reason, we will take on new learners and reallocate you to these new learners, so your tutoring activity is not interrupted. I can guarantee that. Okay, any questions, any further questions on these? Anyone wants to talk or ask me further things? Okay, let me move on. So this is just a brief schedule on how the cohorts look like for the year. As you can see, the spring cohort is already kicked off. Here you have deadlines for the spring cohort, and the summer cohort will start later in May with assignment deadlines shown with darker green. And here in yellow, I am proposing to have webinars covering the thematic part of each assignment. These will not be mandatory. I suggest them as optional sessions if you think you need some further clarification on what you should actually look at in terms of the assignments. This will be the opportunity to share any of those thoughts. Okay, so I want to show you quickly what is the structure that your learners have access to, okay? Let me do that real quick, so you know what your learners are looking at, okay? Sorry, just give me a second. So I'm opening now Learn and Connect to show you what learners are looking at right now. Okay, so you should see Learn and Connect now. I hope that is what you're seeing. Someone could confirm that with a happy face icon. Okay. So what they see is basically a simple curriculum with e-learnings in them. self-study section of PM1. So this is the thematic breakdown of their content, assessment and planning, budgeting and resource mobilization, implementation, coordination, monitoring, reporting, evaluation, and operational themes. Okay, they have less content than what you guys had in PM2. Okay, it's actually 8 plus few additional e-learnings, main e-learnings that they need to view. Each section has 2, maximum 3 e-learnings. The content is not as in-depth as PM2. It's more general, covering the main aspects of program management, okay? This is module 7, and the last one is the operational themes with some specifics on cash and public health operational themes, okay? Then they will obviously, they have the assignments, and they will come to the workshop later in September and October if they meet all the requirements, okay? And the written assignments are very important because it's primarily the written assignments that will determine their workshop eligibility, okay? So there's a big stake in what you guys are doing. They will not be able to join the workshops if they don't pass their assignments in advance, okay? So, quickly about the e-tutoring curriculum. As you know, this whole project, the e-tutoring program, is actually a learning opportunity, and it is recorded on fact sheets, and it's considered a substantial learning activity in UNHCR, okay? So how does the e-tutoring curriculum build up? It has all the self-study material that I have just shown you, so the PM1 core e-learnings, okay? Let me share that again. Each of you will be enrolled into this curriculum, okay? So how does it look? Yes. So this is how the e-tutoring curriculum looks like. So we are not viewing PM1 now. We are viewing the e-tutoring curriculum specifically designed for tutors, okay? You have the PM1 self-study material. It's only the PM1 modules that are part of this. So no additional stuff, no optional things. Just modules 1 to 8 and their respective tests, okay? To have the e-tutoring curriculum recorded on your fact sheets, you need to complete this stuff, okay? You need to have this recorded on your training records so that your curriculum is completed, okay? Tests, e-learnings, and tests as well. You have some very useful TOT material here, specifically drafted around e-tutoring, around distant tutoring, okay? These are just documents that you can launch and read, okay? There is an assignment space just for evaluation purposes. I will mark this completed if you do all the feedbacks and mark the learners completed. And the webinar is what we are having right now. I will again mark this completed for everybody in the end. Okay? Any questions on the curriculum, the e-tutoring curriculum? So you need to do those e-learnings, which I just shown in the screen above. It's also very useful that you are actually clear on what learners are looking at, okay? So you need to know what they know. You need to see the modules they are looking at, okay? If many of you in the program this year, Christian, Wasim, other colleagues who have done PM1 before, obviously all this is marked completed for you, so you don't need to do it again. If you started off with PM2, you need to view them, okay? That's how the system is set up. Then, as I said, some useful documents on the e-tutoring skills, and I will give you the evaluation of your tutoring work. Well, it's not me who will give you, but I collect evaluation from your learners, okay, in an anonymous environment, so they will get their anonymity to provide the evaluation, but then I will provide that to you, so you will see what your learners found, how the learners found your work. Okay, any questions on this? So ideally, this initiative should land on your fact sheets, if everything goes well, by, I should say, September. Okay, so when you're done with everything, you've done with the feedbacks, I will do my job and mark it completed for you by mid-September, I should say. Okay, so the last thing I want to cover today is the tool you will actually use to work with your tutors. This is something we call the assignment tracking tool. Okay, this is an environment designed for learners and tutors to interact. This is what learners access when they are submitting their written assignment, and this is the tool that will allow for tutors to get in touch with the learners, download their submitted work, and mark their statuses. That's the important thing. So this is the environment which you can use to make them pass or do extra work, and eventually mark their completion of the whole thing. Because in PM1, this is the only part which requires human interaction, so this is what will eventually determine their completion or not. Okay, this is the link where you go in. You don't need to put this down now. Obviously, I will send this to you, so you can then save it to your favorites and use it to access the tool. Let me show you how the environment looks and what are the basic features of the environment. So I will again share my screen. Okay. So when you click the link, okay, this is where you will go. You will have to register a new password by clicking the forgotten password link. Again, I will put this down in the next email you will get. But then obviously you will set up a password and you will use your email address to access the tool. Okay? So when you log in, you will see only one entry here, which will be spring or summer cohort 2018, or maybe most likely both. Okay, so you will see spring cohort and summer cohort 2018. Then to see the progress of your learners, you need to click on the course progress report. Okay, this is a link on the right hand side of the screen. And here you see your learners listed and some boxes for them. Okay, this is kind of the back end for the assignment tool. Your Commonwealth of Learning Tutors were using exactly the same tool when they were marking your assignments in PM2. Okay, so you have a useful key or legend down here showing you what the colors mean. Okay, when you begin your tutoring work, you will all see yellow boxes, meaning that the learner has not submitted anything. Okay, the blue box, the blue color, means that there is a submission, there's a work that is, or comment, or anything that is waiting for your interaction. Okay, as you can see on the screen right now, this learner has submitted something. Here you can see the date of the submission, that's today, and if you see this little envelope, you see that this has not been opened yet. Okay, so to open an assignment, you can just click on the number. So for example, if I want to see the first assignment, I just click on it. This is the page. What you will see, you have the details of the learner, the assignment title, the module, and the most important thing is the chat history here. This is only one comment made. This is a testing environment, obviously. If you want to communicate with the learner, you will have to use this environment, this chat box feature. But let's go back to the other assignment, which is pending our review. So let me click Tutor again, Spring Cohort Course Progress Report. And this time I will click on the blue box, which is indicating that there's something I need to do here. Okay. So again, I will scroll down. I see more interactions here. I see that my learner submitted something here. When you see a box here and you see that this is a clickable item, you can just click on it, and this will download actually the attachment that your learner submitted. Okay, so you will always have to download attachments. So written assignments are actually Word documents, Word templates with the answers of the learner put into them. Okay, so after you have reviewed this document, then you come back here. Dear learner, thanks a lot. Please find attached my review. You are marked rework. Okay. Here is where you select your file to be attached to this feedback. It is important that when you draft your feedback, you put your comments into the same document that your learner was working on, so that the assignment history is kept in one place. We will talk about the assignment, how to provide feedbacks and what wording to use, what format, what layout, and what content you need to focus on. Really, this is just to show the technicalities of reviewing. So you just click File and choose any file that you have saved with your comments, okay? And here in the assignment status is where you actually change status. So when clicking this, you will see few options. This assignment was submitted because the learner sent you something. You can set it to pass or rework. Pass will show passes when the learner meets every requirement. Rework is when you want the learner to do some further analysis, or if you just miss some important elements of the work. And submitted by tutor is something you can use when you're just sending the learner a comment. So I will click rework for now, click save, and if I go back to the progress report, I can see that the box is now red. Okay, the learner will now receive a notification that the tutor has come back with some comments, and the learner will also see that you have changed the status to rework. Okay, and obviously when you mark the learner pass, all these boxes will turn green eventually. Okay. Any questions? Ibrahim is asking, do we already have access to those tutor learning modules? No, not yet. I will enroll you to the curriculum, I should say, by the end of tomorrow. Okay, so by the end of tomorrow, if you open Learn and Connect, you will have access to everything. Okay, bless you, Marta. Thank you. So any questions on the technicalities? Yes, I forgot to mention, you get a reminder to your inbox after every interaction in Learn and Connect, either when a learner is sending you a message or an assignment. You will get a notification. Let me try to share that as well. So this is how a notification looks like. You see the learner's name and the content, the text content of the message is pasted into this notification message. Unfortunately, the attachments are not available in the notifications. So to get to the attachments themselves, which are the actual assignments, you need to go to the environment. But if you want to just drop a reply to your learner, and that's something I really encourage you to do, like I mean like acknowledging that you have received the message, appreciating a timely submission, and saying, dear learner, thanks a lot for submitting your assignment on time. I will take a few days now to review your work and come back to you with some comments. You can use this message to reply. If you see, please enter your reply above this line. There are some instructions here, so if you just click reply, and I don't even need this. So you use this part of the message to reply. You don't need to enter the system, okay? Sending this email back to whatever is preset here, the system will recognize your messages, and these messages will appear in the chat history of that very assignment, okay? Thanks a lot. We'll review it soon. So like this, you can communicate with your tutor, okay? I mean your learner, sorry. But eventually when you're sharing your document, your written feedback, you do need to log in into the system. Okay. Christopher is asking, not sure what to cover and not cover in the e-tutoring assignment. Clarify, please. Christopher, I'm not sure I understand your question. Do you have a mic? Can you talk to me? Christopher? Apparently not. So e-tutors have your assignment basically in this training initiative is to provide feedback to learners. Okay. Your self-study in this training initiative is to complete the PM1 learning material, the e-learnings, so that you are aware of what your actual learners are doing. Okay? And that's it. You don't have anything else to do. This will be enough for you, I promise. Okay? If all this is met, I will mark the e-tutoring program completed for you. Okay? Masimango is asking, let me bring you back a little bit. Being a tutor rather than a teacher, but learners are from different backgrounds. One may need more detailed guidance, more support. What do we do in this case to avoid dropout? Well, let me reflect on this. Yes, they are coming from different backgrounds. You will have two learners. One might be a program associate from Lebanon with 2 years of experience. The other might be a head of field office from Kenya with 25 years of experience in UNHCR. Okay, so they will need a rather different approach in providing feedback to them. This is the challenge that you will have to meet. Okay, what you will know about your learners. I will send you, just after this session, I will send you the learner profiles. As you know, when they applied for PM1, they provided their motivation statement, and they also provided what are the programmatic tasks that they are doing right now in their operation. So you will have this information for you. Okay, this will give you a much better idea of what they are actually doing and what they want to get out of this program. And you obviously will see their grades, their functions, and their operations. Okay, so you will have to use this piece of information to sort of personalize your feedback and see how to go about them. I don't think I can tell you more than that. Everyone is different. Okay, for someone, a more like storytelling approach works better. Someone likes to read personal stories, accounts of a situation, what you had to face and how you solved it. Others will like more punctual bullet point style reviews with very much straight to the point answers. I mean, this is the challenge and the beauty of this job, is that you need to understand your learner, assess their preference, and formulate your comments accordingly. Okay. Yes, Massimango, I think I tried to address your comments. Do you still want to talk to me, or because I see your hand raised, so I can unmute you.
I'm sorry.
Okay, okay, I got it. So there is one more question from Ola. How much time are we allowed to postpone the deadline? Do we have to clear those deadlines with you? Second question, how do you monitor our feedback to learners in case the feedback is missing something? Do you rely on the learner to relay this to you? Okay, so first question, I think that I should say in the first 2 weeks after the official deadline as set in the program guide for learners, I leave that to you, okay? So in the first 2 weeks, you can play around with the learner, allow some flexibility. You know, it's all a question of what are the reasons behind. If you know, if there's a personal reason or a health reason or something sensitive, obviously we cannot do anything, and we don't want to put the learner in a difficult situation. If it's just a regular workload issue, obviously it's the sooner the better. So in the first 2 weeks, I rely completely on you to chase the learner and allow anything within this time frame. If the first 2 weeks pass and still you don't hear anything from the learner, you could raise this with us, and then we will try to intervene and find a solution. Now, it's always good that you copy us when you negotiate deadlines, so we are all on track about issues. We will I will send you the functional mailbox dedicated for PM1. It's actually very easy, pm1@unhcr.org. So I suggest that you copy this mail to every communication you discuss when you discuss deadlines. So Aggie and Laura will be aware that this learner doesn't need to be reminded necessarily because you already agreed on something else. Okay, second question. How do you monitor our feedback to learners in case the feedback is missing something? Do you rely on the learner to relay this to you? No, I don't expect the learner to comment on your feedbacks as the cohort is progressing, okay? So they might do it, but it's not really common, okay? So if you write 2 lines and say, okay, pass, no, this is wrong, that's a really bad feedback, and your learner might drop us an email that she or he is really unhappy about this quality. But I don't imagine any of you will work like that. So what I do is just try to do some spot checks if everything is fine. Really, this the work we are going to start soon is really about mutual trust. Okay, you all came to Budapest last year, which was a result of a 7-month hard learning, a lot of assignments, a lot of back and forth with your tutors. Then you also, all of you did a great job in your TOT session. So, you know, we really trust that you will do a good job here. We are all really busy, so I don't even have the time to check each and everyone's assignment. By far, I don't have the time for that. You know, I'll just try to do some spot checks every now and then, and maybe also share some good assignment examples. I always do that, so you can see what others do. Or if I find something striking in one of the assignments that you did, I might say, I might send you a message to provide some more clarifications on this and that point, but there's not more to that. Okay. Any more questions? Yes. Luz Adriana, would be great sharing good assignment feedbacks. Yes, I do that. I also have good piece of work from last year, but I'm sure there will be many from this year. So I will, whenever I read a good piece of assignment, I share that with the rest of the group as a source of inspiration for others. Any more questions? Okay, maybe talking to your learners through email instead of the assignment tool. That's also fine. It's just that we don't see that, okay? Not that we want to spy on what you do with your learners, absolutely not. But if you discuss the assignment itself, I think that it's easier for you and for the learner as well that your communication related to a specific assignment is in a controlled, clean environment, and you don't have to find that specific email among the 1,000 other emails, okay? And also it's good that we see what is the progress, because we only see the assignment tool. If you send a mail to your learner and discuss some things, there might be some progress that we don't see, and still remind your learner, which might be a bit annoying. So for this reason, try to use the assignment tool for communication. If you use email, that's also fine. Just keep us in copy so we know what's going on. Okay, if there are no more questions, I'm closing the session. I ran 10 minutes over, sorry about that. I will share the recording of this webinar for you so you can review it. As promised, I will send you the learner profiles. This is very important. So the first thing I will ask you is to send an introduction to your learner. This just few lines, briefly introducing yourself, what you do, where you're coming from, what's your background, okay? This is great because the learners will see that they're in the right hands. They will feel the support from day one. So it's important that you do this introduction as soon as I give you the link to the assignment tool and your learner profiles, which should be like soon, very soon. Your learners have just received the welcoming message end of next week, so it's like the whole thing is very fresh. It's going to be very timely if you do that introduction in the coming days. Ibrahim asking is there any guiding notes on technical aspects of tutoring? Yes, we have guidances for everything, how to access the tool, how to navigate in the tool, so you will receive all that stuff. And no need to stay, I'm here. Please find me, send me an email, drop me a line on Skype, or try to ring my phone. I will be happy to help you. Or you can also drop a mail to the functional mailbox if I'm not around, then someone will be able to help you. Okay, if there are no more questions, thanks a lot for joining today. Let me unmute you all now to say bye. And I'm really looking forward to working with you in this cohort, and I'm sure you will find it fun and you will have a good time providing feedback. So take care, and looking forward to continuing with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Attila. This was very informative.
What would be additional?
Thank you, everybody.
Bye. The issue is a bit of
Bye.
There's two ways to do this.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye, and thank you. That guy is going to get the grant.
Bye-bye.
We don't know. There's high chances, I believe. I think it's about 50% of the grant.
I think it's much higher.